Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another great episode of Lunchtime Talk with Steve. And of course, I'm your host, Steve Barrow. All right, today we have two awesome people that are coming up on the show. One of them is Jenny Thelwell. She's an author. She has a couple of books out. She's doing great things, and I want you guys to get a chance to meet her. I also have Damien Hunt, and he's going to be coming up in just a moment, and he is actually going to prepare you for greatness, prepare you for success. All right. So give me just a moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer that phone that's ringing, but I'm also going to have you guys share out the link to your friends and relatives. Okay. All right. Thanks very much. And I'll be back with you in just a moment. Hey everybody, so I'm back. Here we are. So like I said, I got some great guests coming up. If you guys haven't had a chance to share it out yet, go ahead and share it. Make sure that you're sharing the link with your friends, your relatives, your coworkers, your enemies, everybody. I don't care who you share it with. Just go ahead and share it. Um, all right, so let me get our first guest in here now. We have this gentleman that's here with us. Damien, how's everything going? Introduce
Everything is
yourself.
well. Thank you, Steve. Everything's very well. I can't complain about anything.
I hear you. I hear you. So you are the man who is going to teach people how to prepare for success. Did I have that right?
That is always my goal. That is always the goal to make
Okay.
sure to get the most out of people to for them to make sure that they're able to do their very best and actually whatever their decision or whatever success looks like for them, that they would make sure that they tackle it and they go about it to the best of their ability.
Okay, and that leads us to the first question. We're just going to get out the gate running here.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Because you just touched on something. You said whatever success is to them. And that was my question. How does a person know how to define success? What exactly is success, and give us a couple of examples, because some people might already be there and just don't know it.
Absolutely. Well, success means a lot to different people. I grew
Hmm.
up in the area here in South Florida called Deerfield Beach.
Hmm.
And growing up around the time that I grew up, it was a little difficult. There were areas that were, let's just say, unpalatable and
Hmm.
very tough. So some may see success as just getting out from the area that they grew up in.
Mm.
Others may see success as achieving a certain level of education or academic scholar, being the first to graduate from high school or college. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. I have my mother that's from the backwoods of South Carolina, Lake City, South Carolina, and my father is from Bridgetown, Barbados.
Really?
And
I
absolutely,
was going to ask you about that, because I know people with the last name Hunt, Hunte, from
yes.
Barbados. I'm from Barbados. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, my father's from Bridgetown, Barbados. So, um, and neither one of my parents graduated from high school, but they were both still some of the. I'm sorry, graduated from college, but they were both two of the smartest people that I knew,
Mm.
and it's because of a lot of their experiences. So success is actually up to the individual. My thing is, if you set a goal for yourself and you work your hardest to achieve it and you actually achieve it, that to me in itself is success. It doesn't have to, be what society says success is. If you're happy with the decision that you've made or the goals that you presented yourself and set for yourself and you attain those goals, that to me is exactly what success is.
And that's true, because to some people, success is just having a house. That's it.
Absolutely.
You just want a
Absolutely.
house. You have a house, and boom, okay, I made it. Or even traveling. Some people traveling is success.
Absolutely.
You could pick up and just say, okay, I'm gonna go over to wherever. I mean, I know some people that consider success having that RV and just traveling around after they retire, just driving around state to state. And they're
Absolutely.
like, okay, I made it. I'm good. I can relax now. And especially if you go down to the Keys, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many people that retired. They're just like, okay, I'm living in this place. I'm good. I'm kicking back on the front porch. I'm good. And then to them, that's success. They made it. So,
Absolutely.
what do you define success as?
Um,
Let me put you
I
on
guess.
on the spot there for a second.
Oh, that's fine. One of the things that my major thing and my biggest mantra has been knowing the difference between your potential and your purpose,
Mhm.
and that your purpose is something that you do based upon the cards that were dealt to you. But purpose is dealing with, regardless of what cards you were dealt, you're doing things in spite of. It's what you were born to do. It's what the good Lord has actually put you on earth to do. To me, that is what success is. Potential is great, but potential is limited. You can all and it's pliable based upon whatever situations or circumstances that have been given to you. So for me, success is making sure that I do my very level best to help people, in spite of whatever they're going through, excel beyond themselves, to push them beyond where they are, and make sure that they have the necessary tools and strategies in order for them to make it wherever they decide they wanted to make it, whether that's professional, personal, academics, whatever the case may be. That's exactly what I would like to assist people in doing.
Okay, and so how does a person go about, getting you to help them out? How do they go about getting your services? Do they, I mean, what do they need to do? Is this something like, I don't know how to describe it. Is it a class? Is it just a video they watch? How do they do it?
Well, of course, in the era that we're living in right now, with social media being multifaceted,
Hmm.
they can definitely, link up with me as you and I have on LinkedIn. Um,
Hmm.
they're able to, get on me on Facebook. They can look me up on Facebook. And these are the two avenues that I typically choose because, of course, for Facebook is a little bit more of a playful side, but LinkedIn is more professional. And if they see, if there anything that they would like for me to come in, I am open to traveling to ensure that my services are open to them, And we can talk about fees at another time based upon whatever they need.
Right.
That's basically, those are the two avenues that they're able to get in contact with me, and again, it's more so about what they need. If it's more of an individual thing, we can go individual, small group, larger groups. I've trained multiple people as far as in the education realm, of which that's the realm that I am. I am a product of the Broward County public school system. I went to a predominantly private school, a predominantly white private school in Indiana, which I loved, absolutely loved. And then went into the Army. Finished my degree, finished my degrees, at Kaiser University, Lynn University. So I want to, make sure that I am what the good book says, all things to all men, based upon whatever they need. I feel that I can provide those things. I am a motivator. I'm the biggest cheerleader. I am trying to make sure that that young person or that elderly person realize that they have somebody in their corner. They have a support of at least one. And that's what I try to be of all times.
Okay. I'm sharing. I'm still sharing out here. So I encourage my viewers to still share as well, so we can get as many people viewing as possible. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, because we actually have, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom and the little bell, so that every time we're on, you'll be able to know that we are, as soon as we go live, it'll notify you. So on YouTube, hit the subscribe button right down below and hit the little bell. All right. So have you been to Barbados? Let me David.
I have not been back to Barbados in a very, very long time. My grandmother, who has since passed away a few years ago, was there. My dad, and even my mom has visit frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And around the time that I was actually supposed to go, 9/11 happened. And we kept having different type of altercations with other countries, whether that was Kosovo, North Korea, something. I would buy the ticket and I could never go.
So that's how it works. War makes money for rich people, so there's always going to be something going on.
Absolutely.
Regardless of who's in office, Democrat, Republican, whatever. Yes. War makes money for rich people.
Doesn't matter.
So that's one good
absolutely.
But yeah, and one of the things that our prime minister was doing, she was actually encouraging people to come back this year, which COVID-19 kind of interrupted that. She was inviting people to come back this year, and check out some of the things that we have going on in Barbados, because we have a lot of great things going on. And who knows, after this, there'll be different excursions going, and I'll keep you updated and let you know about some of them.
Please do.
But yeah, so go ahead and if, I'm not asking you to give us the secret sauce or anything, but tell us a little bit about how you get people to from where they are to where they want to be. But tell us about that journey and how sometimes that journey can be a little bit challenging, and how to overcome some of those challenges.
The first challenge, first of all, is understanding where you are and being real with yourself. I was always told by my mom, you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. But the moment that you start believing in your own lie, is you're actually getting high off your own supply. And so with that being said, it's understanding where you are, and making sure that if nothing else, my mom told me at the age of 15 to start writing down my goals in life. And I didn't do it. Then she, and when I was 18, she started doing the same thing. I didn't do it. And it wasn't until I became a young adult at 21, and I started to write my goals down. And, and it went from short to, intermediate. And, but they had to be goals that were attainable. And so what I started to see is that the more that I started putting it down, and as the Bible say, write it down and making it plain, and writing it down, writing this information down, I saw myself starting to develop a sense of confidence, because I actually started seeing myself achieving and attaining those goals that I have written down. And so I started writing them down. I put it in a nice little plaque. I, had it in nice calligraphy type writing that I printed off, and I had it on gold background, and put in a picture frame. And I was
Mhm.
able to see that the more that I started to see those goals, I would cross them off. So one of the things is, first off, understanding and being real with yourself and understanding where you are in your life right now. Also, start writing your goals down as to where you would like to be. And
Mhm.
start off by the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year. Okay, as we see, we don't have the time that we think we have. We're already in the middle of the year already. So the time is right now. The second part is surrounding yourself with the proper people and letting go of the people that are anchors in your life.
Well, what if you're related to those people?
Those are the fastest people you need to let go of. Unfortunately, there was a saying that I really don't like the saying, but they always said that there's your biggest enemy sometimes is your family. Well, sometimes your biggest enemy is yourself as well. And
Mm.
so you need to detach yourself from negative people and negative thoughts. That is sometimes and oftentimes your own family members. My wife and I are the youth ministers at our church here in Fort Lauderdale, Gateway Church, under the esteemed leadership of our senior pastor, Bishop Dr. Preston Williams II. Um, One of the things that we're doing, even in my youth ministry, Gen 180, is we're talking about making sure that you understand the people that you have allowed access to in your life.
Mhm.
I like to equate that to basically saying that in your mind you're a bouncer for your life. You
Mm.
allow who you want access to in and out of this prestigious establishment known as your self or your mind. So you are the person, you're the gatekeeper to understanding who you want and who you do not want in your life. You need to surround yourself with the people with people that are going to push you beyond yourself. You don't need a bunch of yes men or yes women. You don't need just someone that's going to down you. You're going to need someone that's going to actually push you in the direction and always making sure that they're pushing you forward. Okay,
Mm.
I am a former football player and a former football coach, and one of the things you always tell your players: fall forward. If you're going to fall forward. If you're going to be wrong 100%. Don't halfway do anything. A firm believer that and I have this very, I guess, odd way of saying things. I try to be very colorful, but when you go to a lady and you see that she's pregnant and she has acknowledged that she's pregnant, and you ask the woman, "Are you pregnant?" You would never hear a woman say a little bit. It's either you are or you're
Or you're
not.
not.
So you're going to
Exactly.
you're going to be committed. Either you're committed fully or you're not committed. There is
Right.
no a little bit commitment. So be
Right.
committed to who you are, who you want to be, and then also do the research. Understand what it's going to take for you to be what you claim that you want to be. I tell young people often, it's a difference between being a garbage man and a waste management technician. Far too long we think that it's okay, and it is okay. Your potential is garbage man. Your purpose is being a waste management technician. You
Right.
understanding that it is not just what everybody else says it is. It's what
So,
you have formulated in your mind.
so you do a lot with them and I know you said you're the youth minister at your church, but
Yes.
outside of the church, do you also do mentorship and things like that with the youth? And is your program also geared towards some of our young group, or how's that?
Yes, I currently work for Kaiser University Multidisciplinary Center, and
Hmm.
basically I mentor middle school, high school students with disabilities, and we go through talking about everything in regards to transitioning, how to just to come to someone that actually that you need to be an ear. I'm not a therapist. I am not a counselor. I literally just 2 days ago just finished my chaplaincy courses, so I am now a certified chaplain. But um,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. So it's more so in regards to making sure that the young people understand that there is a voice within themselves. I like to use this example is that whenever I see that there's something good that kind of comes out of a person, it's not because I put it there. It's like basically a seed there and having a bunch of dirt piled on top of the seed. It can't grow because the sun can never get to it and it's not getting the proper nutrients. It's suffocating. So my job is sometimes to just remove some of the soil out of the way. The good was always in that person.
Right.
I'm just helping that person remove some of that soil so
And
that
help them that good to come out.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. And to me, that is what this whole thing is about. Some people may call me a motivational speaker. Okay. Some may call me a mentor or coach. Okay. I am all those things. But what I am is just an ear. I am there to hear what you have to have going on in your life, and I am going to assist you in getting to where you need to be. All this information is already in you. All this greatness is already in the person.
Hmm.
I just want to help it come out.
Just like because I do a lot with the youth and stuff like that as well too, with Broward County schools and with some of the other schools.
Yes,
And one of the things I always like to say is there's no such thing as a bad child, just a child in a bad situation. And
absolutely.
therefore what we need to do is just help that child to change their situation and realize how they can change it. So I see what you're saying about getting rid of some of the clutter in the life and helping that person to grow, because I mean, there's nothing like seeing someone who thought they had no hope actually realize that they have hope, and it's always been there. You know.
Well, one of the things, Steve, I would also like to share is that when you look at certain things and you understand, the background of a young person, but let's take it back all the way to when we were kids,
Hmm.
and a lot of it is our generation's fault that we're telling these young people that it's okay to quit. And I don't
Mm.
understand why us as adults are so eager to tell a young person it's fine to quit, because it's not in our
Oh, you're breaking up. I'm not sure if that's you or me. That's is that you that's breaking up, or is that me that's breaking up?
I think it might be you because I see your screen blinking.
Really? Huh. Let me see. I don't know why. Um, I'm plugged into the network, so I should be good.
Okay,
All
is,
right.
is, is it better for me now?
Looks like we're better now. Go ahead.
Okay, but one of the things I wanted to say was, as children, we, that nothing else can happen.
Hmm.
When we were learning how to walk, we would fall down, but we would try again. And
Right.
we would continue that same cycle over and over. We would not quit. So it's not in our DNA to quit. Even from our mother's womb, we're kicking, we're trying to survive, we're doing all these things. It's not in our DNA to quit. But
Right.
along the lines, us as adults have taught us, okay, quit. And and I have two young kids. And one of the things I let them know is, no, we're not using the word can't,
Mm.
won't. We have to continue to try. If you fail while trying, at least you
You
tried.
tried exactly.
Failure does not mean a lack of success. And that's what a lot of people tend to that's what they equate. That failure, if I didn't succeed at what I wanted to succeed, I failed. That is not all that it is. There's a lot more different components that are added to it. So
Right.
for me, my platform is to make sure that folks understand the difference between potential and purpose, and understand that success is what you say success is, not what everybody else says it is.
That's true. And you know what? That's a great segue. I'm telling you, this it's like right on time where where you said that, because our next guest is Jenny Thelwell, and she's an author, and she's gonna come in and tell us about her book, and she's gonna join our conversation. So Damien, stay right where you are, don't move, and I'm bringing Jenny right in with us, okay?
Sounds
And
good.
she is. Hey Jenny, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I cannot hear you guys.
Really?
So let me try. I hear you now.
Yeah.
I hear you now.
Okay, perfect. There we go. All right, so we have Jenny Thelwell on with us, and she is the author. Actually, Jenny, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm gonna go
I'm
ahead
trying
and
to
put
fix
you
my
up on the
camera.
screen.
Yes, hi. Hi, everyone. So I am Jenny Thelwell. I'm an author. I'm also an educator. Um, and I started a publishing company. So I wear a lot of hats, to say the least.
Mhm. So tell us, first off, what gave you the drive and the motivation to actually write your book? What made you say, I can do this, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah, so it wasn't an easy task. I know that is something that I had to do, but I wasn't all giddy about doing it. However, once I realized that I needed to walk in my purpose, and my purpose has always been helping other people. So I figured that, I've had some personal struggles and adversities, especially as a Latina, especially as a minority woman. And so I felt that it was my time to reach out and just hold someone's hand who may have possibly been through some of the things that I've been through, and letting them know that, look, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't end there. So that was my little motivation to write the book.
All right. And were you nervous at first when how did you feel like you were going to get the great reception that you got, or did you or were you kind of nervous, and what if
hmm So as far as the reception, once I realized that this was something that God wanted me to do, I really didn't care who bought the book or who didn't buy the book. I knew for a fact that if God was um, directing my steps, that I didn't. That's not something that I had to worry about. So
Mhm,
I'm a firm believer in that there are people that are attached to us. Like there's people that are really gonna understand what you're saying, Steve, in all of your broadcasts. And so your message is going to reach that person. It may not reach someone else that's watching you, but it's going
mhm.
to reach that person that is attached to your voice. And so I didn't really worry about who would buy the book or not buy the book, or who would think this or would think that, because I knew that the purpose of the book would reach the people that are attached to who God gave me to release. And I don't know if I'm explaining that
No,
right, but
you're good. You're good. The
awesome.
message that he gave you is going to get to the person that is supposed to get that message.
Exactly. So that's
Mhm.
not one thing that I worry about. However, I would be lying if I wasn't saying that I was a little scared, because I am totally putting my life out there. I'm totally talking about um my fears and things that I went through, and just being very vulnerable and an open book to other people. So yeah, sometimes, my human self thinks like, oh,
Mhm.
what are they gonna think about me? And I'm supposed to be a role model and look at all these things that I've been through. But I think that once I realized that the purpose is much bigger than me and what I think, it was a piece of cake.
And the thing too is people think role models always have to be perfect, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
the case, because
Exactly.
no one wants to hear from the perfect person telling you what you did wrong and how bad you are.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hear from the person that said, "Oh wow, you went through the same thing I'm going through, and you made it.
Mm-hmm.
You made it
Right.
through." So that's the thing, though. So that makes you the perfect role model, because
Mm-hmm.
you're able to tell people that stick with it, or actually, well, don't do the same things I did. You can get out now, or whatever.
Right.
However you want to word it. But
Yes.
that little piece of motivation is what people need. They don't need someone to
Mm-hmm.
you're wrong, you're this. No, they need someone to say, hey, listen, we walk the same path. I made
Mm-hmm.
it. You can make it.
Right.
You can do it.
Yeah. They
You
need
know.
someone to relate to, so they
And
can say, okay, if she did it, I can do it. And that's perfect. And that sometimes back then I didn't understand so much when people would say, I'm imperfectly perfect. And
mm,
now I get it. Like, yeah, because no one is like without fault,
right.
but you're still perfect in the way that God made you. So in his image, you're made perfect. So anything that we go through, anything that we struggle with, there was a purpose with that struggle that's attached to that struggle. So being able to go through that struggle, feel it, understand it, and even though we don't understand it sometimes while we're going through, once we make it to the other side, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You get a chance to, if you don't endure, then you won't get a chance to connect the dots later. And that's basically the message that I try to give. Like, the things that you're going through, they'll have purpose, even if you don't know what they are at that particular time. And you have to embrace the pressure. You have to continue the fight so that later on you can connect the dots, and it's a bigger purpose, and then you'll know what to do with that.
So you mentioned that you're an educator. Is this a book that you can actually recommend to like maybe some of the high schoolers? Because I know high school is actually a real pivotal point in a kid's life. Middle school too, but I think more so high school. So is this something that you would recommend for the tweens, if you will, to read?
Yes, definitely. A lot of the things that I talk about in my book are things that I went through, more so in my adolescent years than now as an adult. There's a few things as an adult, but not really. A lot of it was how to get to college and what I went through before I even thought about what college was. And so, it's definitely something that I can read with high school students, girls in particular, but I think it will help anybody.
Yeah, because it would also help the boys to realize what girls are thinking and some of the things that are going on in your mind, because that's one of the things too that we don't realize. When we get to high school, or again middle school too, we tend to separate the boys from the girls, but we don't realize how their lives are so connected and intertwined.
Right. And a lot of things in the book too, it's a memoir, but it's really a self-help book as well. So I didn't really want to focus on myself when I was writing the book, but I did want to use some of the situations and struggles that I've been through to help other people during their situation. So even if you haven't been through exactly some of the situations that I speak on, it's not something, at the end of each chapter, there's a lesson and there are questions for you to apply to your own life and to your own struggle. So anyone can relate to the book. Anyone can relate to, my struggle. And I think it's very important, especially for adolescents in millennials at this age, to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to be able to say, wow, I have empathy for that person. I can understand where that person comes from, even if I haven't been through there. A lot of times, and I used to say this all the time, because I like to read about the zodiac signs and all of that. And I say, because I'm a Taurus, I'm very bullheaded. And I used to say a lot that, well, I have to go through it to understand it. Now that I'm older, I understand by reading. Some of those things I'm not going to go through, and I'm going to make sure that I don't go through them. I can learn the lesson just reading about it. So I think that's something that we need to really instill in our kids. Listen, you don't have to go through everything to understand that this would be a bad decision.
Right.
So I think that the book will be helpful to everybody, boys and girls.
I was actually on a call last night, a Zoom call with a bunch of kids, because I do some mentoring programs and different things too. I'm part of a lot of different programs. I wear a lot of different hats. I know my head is big, but I wear a lot of hats. But
I know.
but one of the things I was telling them last night is you have to play chess, not checkers. You have to think 2 and 3 steps ahead. If you make a decision now, as small as it may be, you have to think about how that decision is going. What's going to happen with that decision, or what's going to happen with the next one. And also, each decision you have to think of 2 ways. What if it works out the way I want it to, and what if it doesn't? So now you also have to think of decisions based on those. So it's like, just one decision you make, you're going to have to come up with a dozen different scenarios for later on. And so Damien, I caught him off guard, I guess.
Just checking my phone, make sure everything's all good.
No, you're good. Hey, this is the fun of a live show, okay? I'm telling you, we just have conversations. I'd like to tell people all the time, we're just having a conversation and the audience is eavesdropping. That's what it is.
That's a good way to put it.
So you guys are pretty much doing the same thing. Jenny wrote her book, and Damien, you're going out there and talking to the kids. But basically, you're doing the same thing. You're motivating the youth, and you're motivating you're just through your stories and through the things that you've done. You're actually helping a lot of the children through their life, through their adolescent times. Let me ask you, where did you see these children of today? Because I mean, they're growing up a little bit different than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really see them as being the generation to carry on, or are you seeing them as being a stronger generation like the ones before us in the '60s, or are they going to be I don't want to say a weaker generation? Are they going to be a more watered down generation? Where do you see that? I'll start with you, Jenny. You go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that it's weaker or stronger. I would say different. Definitely
Mhm,
different. They have a lot more tools at their fingertips. And so I don't think that they're weaker. I think that they're working smarter and faster, and that we
mhm,
have to catch up to them in reality. I think there's a shift. There's a shift of the type of responsibilities that students have, or not just
mhm,
students, but like our teenagers, our millennials. And I just think it's a different way of doing things. I don't think that it's better or not, or not. I just think that it's different.
mhm.
I don't know if
Um,
that answered your question. I
no, yeah,
have like
that answered it.
a bunch of other things to say about that, because I also kind of see myself. I'm a millennial, but I'm really traditional as well in my upbringing. So I think a lot of it starts at home, and then we have a
Mm,
lot of kids having kids. So it's, you know, it,
that's true.
where is the rearing? Where is the some of the traditional things, that the foundation that doesn't change, knowing what's morally right, what's morally correct, having some couth about yourself. I think that that's everlasting, and so we have to really work to instill that in our kids still.
All right. And Paula just sent a message asking what's today's topic. So basically, what we're talking about today, we actually have two authors. Well, actually, we have an author on the show, which is Jenny Thelwell, and let me put it where you can actually see her website as well. There's her website, revolutionary dash diamond.com. And then we have Damien Hunt, and both of them are inspiring our youth. That's one of the things that we really need to do. Paula does a lot as well. She has an organization called PS Youth Outreach Center, and she inspires our youth. She was actually on my first episode of my talk show about 2 years ago. You'll see that on next week's on next Thursday, because we're gonna do a throwback Thursday. Every Thursday, I'm gonna do a throwback Thursday and go back to some of the old episodes, some of the people I interviewed, some of the different things that the different people I met. So next Thursday, I'm gonna start with the one. Oh, she said to me 7 years ago. Yeah, it was about that long. But next Thursday we're gonna do the Alonzo Mourning one, the interview I had with Alonzo Mourning. So we'll talk about that one. But let's see. So Damien, now go ahead and answer the same question. Basically, what do you see as far as the next generation? What do you see with what power do you see them as having? Do you see them as taking the baton that we have and running with it to become the same strength that we had in the generation of the '60s and '70s, or what do you see happening there?
Well, first of all, this is the first, and this is the first generation with information at their fingertips. So
Mm,
we definitely have to make sure that we, as some of the kids would say, put some respect on that. But most importantly, these are what I like to call this generation is, first of all, to answer the first part, this is the generation that will take the baton and go forward with it. And the reason being, this generation has a throwback flavor to it. And I say that to say, back in Woodstock in the '60s, you see this. These are the hippie 2.0 generation. These are
mhm,
the kids that would make sure that they march for what they believe in. This is the generation that would protest for what they believe in. This is the generation that's all about love and making sure that they show that love by any means necessary. Well, that's what they did in Woodstock. That's what they did. That's what the hippies and the flower kids did back then. My generation, we're not protesting anything. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not walking out of my class because my mom and dad had something on the other end of that and told me you don't follow a crowd. So this is, so we're definitely in a different stage in our life. I still believe, as Jenny does, in old school. I pride myself to make sure that I'm able to communicate with the younger generation. I love doing that. I love because I feel that the young people keep me young. So I love that in all intents and purposes. At the same time, with my military background, with my island background, and with my with my mom being from the backwoods of South Carolina, that foundation, that old school, that country type foundation, I still believe that my kids, a good yes sir and no sir still is applicable today. I still believe that those golden rules are those beatitudes are still the things that we are still able to build upon. I still believe that having a solid foundation in God is the most important thing that we could possibly have. So I still believe in those quote unquote throwback type foundations, as Jenny alluded to, but also to understanding that we still also need to be pliable, not breakable, but pliable, to make sure that we bridge the gap to what we believe in and what our young people believe that they believe that are the right things to do. So, I said a whole lot to say that this is definitely the generation that will take the baton. I think that they just need some coaching. I believe they need to corral some of that extra energy that they have, that extra intelligence that they have, and to further where we're leaving off. But please, by no stretch of the imagination, should we ever push them to quit. We just need to make sure that we assist them in driving that energy that they have into the right direction.
And this is a copy of Jenny's book that I have up on here right now. There you go. So you guys can go to Amazon and you can look it up. It's Pressure Point. It's available on Amazon. Is it also on Barnes and Nobles or just Amazon right now?
Just Amazon and my website right now.
All right. So definitely go out there and purchase the book, because I'm telling you, we learn from other people's experiences. All right, and let this be one of the experiences that you learn from and you don't have to go through. All right. Damien, have you ever thought about writing a book?
I have. I've had a few people ask me to jot some things down, because I had a very different background, especially in comparison to where I am right now. So so some memoirs, they may be coming down the pike a little bit later. Right now, just trying to get out there to make sure that I make this whole thing about other people. And also, I mean, granted, I am a firm believer that folks can learn from my mistakes. And I have this thing that I say that, if you learn from your own mistakes, good job. But if you learn from other people, you made it. So that's my biggest thing, is to make sure that other people understand that. You're on your way when you learn from your own mistakes, but you have made it when you learn from other people's mistakes. And I am a firm believer to learn from other people's mistakes. I can see you bump your head. I don't need to bump my head in order for me to learn that hurts. So I want to make sure that I put that out there, is to make sure that everyone learn from the things that I've done. I've made enough mistakes that you don't have to make those. And the thing is, I feel I grew up as a pretty good kid. I've never been in jail, never did drugs, I don't drink. So it's like I feel I'm in the church now, though I didn't really grow up in church. But being good is not good enough anymore, and we need to make sure that we are doing our very level best for what God has placed inside of us. If we reach to the potential, the purpose that He has designed for us, our potential is limited, but our purpose is limitless. So I'm ready to pick up and just take the ball and go.
All right. And Jenny, is this your first book, or did you have another one before this?
No, this is my first book and my
Mhm.
only planned book. So
Do you have
many
another one
people
coming up?
after reading it is that they're asking me for a second book, and I'm like, listen, y'all, that wasn't the plan. I don't know. So now I don't know if there might be another one. I'm not sure. I'm working on so many things at the same time. I'm also a doctoral student, so I'm trying to finish that and I don't know where this book came from. It was something that was really placed on the inside of me, and God just gave me the words, and I just went to writing. So I put everything else on hold while I wrote the book, and so it's been a journey. I'm not exactly sure how or when or if there's a second book, but this is my first book.
All right. Um, so let's. So what would you say to and either one of you could answer this one. What would you say right now to the teenager that said, I want to write a book or I want to do something, but my friends, my relatives, whoever behind me, they
Hmm.
just keep telling me I can't do it, or they keep telling me, wait till later or whatever. Jenny, you go first. What would you say to that person that wants to do something, but they have a bunch of naysayers behind them?
Wow, wow, wow. Don't we all? And didn't Jesus also have naysayers? Um, my thing is embrace the pressure. So many times we don't know why we're going through the things that we're going through. We don't understand the bigger picture, and it's hard. And there's so many people that are doing other things and they're progressing, and it feels like you're stagnant. It feels like you're not making enough you're not taking enough ground with all of the things that you have going on. But sometimes those things are delayed for you because your purpose is much bigger than whatever they have going on. And a lot of times we don't see that. We don't see that. I'm gonna take myself for an example. I had friends who were making all of this money. They were living their best lives. Yet I'm stuck at home writing papers, broke, still figuring out my life, and we're like the same age, and they're doing great things, and they're doing this and that, and you're like, wow, like I'm doing all of these things. Matter of fact, I'm doing so much more than they are, and yet I'm not reaping any benefits right now. I can tell you for a fact that those things are helping me today, right now. And it feels like I went from 0 to 10 just that quick, even though it hasn't really been quick, but I've surpassed them now. But the thing is that, our purpose is related to our work and our struggle and our adversity. So if you don't go through that pressure, if you don't embrace it, if you quit, then you will never be able to say, okay, I get it now. I understand why maybe it was easier for them to get that job and it wasn't as easy for me, but it's because God skipped that position and put me higher. I didn't have to take that step that they took.
Mm.
He skipped through that because of my diligence, because of my perseverance, because of my faithfulness to understand that whatever He put inside of me is bigger than what I could imagine. And so, whether I wanted that job and I didn't get it, now that I am at that position where I didn't need that step. And so I don't even know how to explain it. I get so excited sometimes about the
No,
things
you're
that
doing great. You're doing
God
great.
is in my life. And so just embrace the pressure. Keep working. Do not quit. Everything that you work for, even those adversities, will work together for your good. Honestly.
All right. And Damien, what would you say to that person who has a bunch of naysayers behind them and making them think, oh, you can't do it?
Get rid of them. That's the short of the long. Change. You have to change your circle. Um, at the ripe age of 40 right now, I am finding out that my geometry for years have been off. And I say that to say that the circles that I thought I was a part of, I am not a part of those circles. So
Mhm.
my formulas and my geometry, which was always a subject that I did not enjoy at all in school anyway, I found
Mhm.
out that my geometry was wrong. I found out that some of the circles that I thought I was a part of, they were the wrong circle. They were a circle. It was just not the circle I was supposed to be a part of. First of all, write down your goals. And sometimes you can't tell everybody what you're getting ready to do, because the first thing, misery love company. And people sometimes are out there to assassinate your dream. That is their goal in life, to assassinate your dream. And some of these people we call this very important topic, friend, should I say this very important title, friend. And we need to stop throwing that word around so carelessly, because a lot of people fall in friendship. Some fall in just someone that associates, comrades, but not everybody's a friend because you've known them for a long time. I am a firm believer, because you've been doing something for a long time does not make you an expert. It means you've done something for a long time. And so with that being said, to those teenagers, or for any people for that matter, because I'm finding out at my age right now, I've had to let go of people. And so I would say to anybody that have naysayers, first of all, observe and see what they're doing with their lives, first of all. And if their words are not lining up with their actions, then they're living a lie. So it would do you well to get rid of people that believe in their own lie. Second of all, make sure that you are you're surrounding yourself with the proper people that is, again, as I've said before, push you towards your destiny. If they want to write a book, if they want to get in front of large crowds and speak to people, if they want to do all these things, see who's doing it and follow them and see what they're going on. We are in a social media platform right now. So you can go on Instagram, you can go on LinkedIn, you can go on Facebook, you can go on Snapchat, you can go see all these people on YouTube, and see what other people are doing, and try to pick up some traits. Try to see, if there's some similarities between you and that author, you and that speaker, you and that person that's doing that's in the same field that you're interested in. See what their similarities are. See if there's some things that maybe that you understand that are weaknesses for yourself, and you make those weaknesses now a strength. See what your strengths are, and make sure that they don't become your weakness. These are all things that young people, even right now during the summer, I'm actually going to be doing a webinar on June 10th through Kaiser University. And it's actually called Summertime. And it's actually, a play off of the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff song. But it's actually making, I'm sorry?
No, I remember that song, Summertime.
Yeah, one of the best summer songs ever made. But it's to make sure that young people understand that during the summer, and there's research that's out there that's showing this, that actually says during the summer, a young person that has gone through school for 9 months, within those 6 weeks that they're out for summer, can lose anywhere from 20 to 35% of everything that they learn through the school year.
That's the summer slide.
6 weeks. That is absolutely crazy for me to fathom that. But so one of the things I'm going to be speaking on and giving strategies on is summertime transition. What can you do during the summertime? Picking up books, looking at videos, putting things together. If you like, I have a 7-year-old. He loves Ben 10, so we're going to cater some English strategies through Ben 10. You're not just going to watch Ben 10 and watch, all these omniverses and stuff like that without getting something out of it. We're going to go over subject and verb agreements. We're going to go on inferencing. We're going to do all these things. Same thing with my 6-year-old daughter. So it's finding the thing that you want to do. You think that you cannot do what, you can't live without doing it, and doing the research. It's not enough to be an influencer without you having a message behind your influence.
Right.
Okay, the key word is influence. What are you going to do with the platform? We've seen a lot of people get famous, and it's not always a good famous.
That's true.
You want to be followed, and it's like, well, I'm a firm believer. If you're going to be a leader, you have to be an excellent follower.
Yeah,
a great leader always, but you also need to know the proper person to follow, or the proper people to follow. So those that have the naysayers, prove to yourself, first of all, that you can do it, and prove them wrong. But also, most importantly, Get from around naysayers. It's a difference having constructive criticism and someone just down. And again, I found a lot of them in your own four walls. Having they share the same bloodline as you. Get rid of them. And if understand that you may not be able to get rid of them physically because they may be in your own house, but you can change your mindset. You can turn your mind off. Like I said, the story that I have, even in my own home, that's my mom, that I had a family member that's with me, a large part of my family, and she was such a negative person. But I had to learn how, at an early age, how to turn that off. And I think I've done pretty well in spite of.
All right. So let's so that's great. That's good advice that both of you guys gave. Let me get like a quick last word from both of you, because as it is, it's lunchtime talk with Steve. My lunchtime is over. I have to get back to work. My boss might be watching. So let me get a quick 1 minute wrap up from each of you. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna put Jenny's book back up on here. Actually, let me put up her page so that we can have her information on there too, as she's speaking. So Jenny, let me hear from you first.
Yes, awesome. So Steve, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm always willing and able to spread the knowledge, and just I hope that my message gets out there to whoever is assigned to my voice. Yeah, I see you have my page out there for anyone that wants to write their book, tell their story, just be someone who's willing and ready to share experiences. You can send me a message. You can do a consultation also on my site. I'm an author, but I'm also a writing coach. So I am able and willing to help anyone who wants to, put down their words on written form, and just empower other people. So hit me up. My name is Jenny Thelwell, revolutionary-diamond.com, and I will be your writing coach.
All right, awesome. So Damien, when you're ready to write your book, you know who to call.
Clearly.
So let me get a couple last words from you. Let's
Again, I share the sentiments with Jenny. Thank you so much, Steve, for providing this platform for us to speak to your viewers. And one of the things I just want to say to anybody that's listening to this particular platform, whether it's through Facebook or whether it's through YouTube, just understand that you count. You have purpose, and your potential is not all that it is. You are able to do anything that you put your mind to. And I know that sounds cliche, but this is coming from a teacher who was laid off back to back 3 years during the '08 and 2011 recession. And I never understood that why it was me that kept getting laid off. I was certified. I was teaching at a very good school. I did everything I was supposed to do, and only to find out that my purpose lied in with me actually getting laid off. And you're talking about someone who has failed many of times, but through the grace of God, I've been able to get back up more times than I've been able to fall. And so my thing is, I'm not here to preach to anybody. That's not, I'm not a preacher, but I do share my faith because it's only God that's got me thus far. And so I would like to make sure that I just tell all your viewers and anybody that's going to be looking at this later, and hopefully that you have your young person with you, regardless of if they're 1 year old or if they're 100 years old. I just want to share it with everybody that if you believe in yourself, you have one more person in your corner, and that's myself. I want to be there to help you in the best way I possibly can. So you can reach out to me. You can definitely you can hit me up via email, which is Damien, DAMIENHUNTE @hotmail.com. You can go on my LinkedIn page and see the things that I'm doing. But I want to help you. I want to help your young person. I want to help you be the best you can possibly be. The good is always in you. It's always been there. I just want to remove some of the soil so that seed can actually have a chance to blossom. That greatness that's inside of you. I want to motivate. I want to cheerlead. I want to coach. I want to do all those things. I want to make sure that you understand you have somebody else in your foxhole with you. Your back is not against the wall. Your back is against my back. And we're going to go ahead and climb out of this thing, this bad time that we're having right now, even through this pandemic. What other people may see, man may call this an inconvenience, but I believe that God is calling this time to be a perfect timing. We're learning about ourselves more and more every single day. We're learning about the people that we love more and more every single day. We were taking for granted the liberties that we have. We know not to do that anymore. So I would like to make sure that you take advantage of the liberty I'm giving you. Utilize me, utilize my services, utilize how you can get in contact with me. Again, these are all things that I believe Steve is doing for people like myself, as well as the greatness that Jenny is and what she's producing. And make sure that if you can't do it on your own, find a circle of people that you can. You only need one. Every marathon starts with one step, and you will achieve those greatness that you have set for yourself. Write those goals down, achieve them, and also believe them. And that's it.
All right, thank you both for being on the show. This is it's been awesome. I really appreciate both of you. I appreciate the advice that you gave to my viewers. I appreciate the insight. Every time I do a show, I learn something new. I'm telling you, it's like that's why I love doing these shows, because I'm learning so much, and I know my viewers are learning as well. So again, I want to thank both of you guys for being on the show. As I always say to people when I'm closing out, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Do a random act of kindness for a stranger. If you see someone out there that needs something, you don't have to know them. Just know that they need something, and it could be you one day. Do something for that person, all right? But if you have a family member, a friend, whoever that you haven't spoken to in a long time, pick up the phone and give them a call. You'd have someone that you know that needs something, whether they need to go to the store, to the food bank, to the doctor, whatever. They don't have a car. You have a car, go out and do it for them. Make it happen, okay? You are your brother's keeper, and you are responsible for your brother. So let's go ahead and make this happen. There's no excuse for, later on when you say, oh, I didn't know. It's because you didn't want to know. So as always, people, in closing, I thank you very much for watching another episode of Lunchtime Talk with Steve, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, no, today's Friday, right? So I'll see you guys on Monday. All right, peace.
And Monday's Memorial Day.
Yep, Monday's Memorial Day. You probably see me eating some barbecue or something. I don't know, But we're gonna make it happen. Care. All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye. Bye.